Suns are up 2-0. And coming out of that game, I really feel like, and my opinion on this has not changed much. I really feel like the Phoenix Suns are just simply a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks. I think we've seen that the Suns are deeper. Their starting five is deeper than the Bucks' starting five is. Giannis is doing what Giannis always does, which is put up great numbers and lose games to better teams. And I think that's how this series it has played out, and I think it's how this series is going to play out. What do the Bucks have to do, Jake, if they want to win a game in this series? Because I'm questioning whether they are capable of doing that. But what can they do? What will they have to change to win a game in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I think they have to play a more team brand of basketball on offense. You know, a lot of the times on offense in these first two games, it's been Giannis and kind of everybody else, you know, and I think that everybody on social media last night was like, well, Giannis is carrying them. He's carrying them. Where's Middleton and Drew Holiday and all these other guys? And I'm just sitting here saying it's not those guys' fault that the Bucks are not moving the ball on offense and creating good looks. If we remember, the Bucks in the prior series, especially against the Nets, what really brought them success was moving the ball and getting to those open 3-point looks. And then you've got Giannis in the middle, you know, causing chaos on the boards. I mean, that's really what gets this team going. And I think, you know, we've seen that Middleton's capable of giving you 35 to 40 points in any given game. But where's he been? Waiting for the ball on the wing, and he's not getting it. So I look at last night's performance out of this team. You know, they weren't really getting to the foul line a ton. I think Middleton had like 2 to 4 attempts from the line. That was it. And I just feel like it can't be Giannis has 40 and 20 and those guys have like 15 points. I mean, that's just not going to be realistic.
Well, and I think the thing that is really troubling if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan and something you should really pay attention to is that you only have 2 guys having a performance game in and game out. They don't have a third guy, and they don't have a system because, again, I just think Budenholzer's a good, not a great coach. They don't have a system that allows, in this case, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to go off along with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think Giannis commands so much of the basketball that, excuse me, I almost died, that a third option just isn't really an option on this team. And I think that's why you're seeing, like last night, for instance, Giannis goes 15 of 22 from the floor. Drew Holiday takes 21 shots, goes 7 of 21. Chris Middleton, who I think is your best player, only takes 16 shots, goes 5 of 16, 11 points. He's a minus 15 on the game.
Yeah.
He's playing 41 minutes, and he's getting 6 or 7 fewer shots than Giannis. That's not a formula to win. And I know that Drew Holiday is a really important player for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I totally understand that. I don't disagree with that. He's not as important as Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's mid-range game, he's shown you consistently in the third and fourth quarters in big games that if you give him the ball, it's going in the hole.
Yeah.
And it's cool and it's neat that Giannis can dunk. He was 1 of 5 from 3. He's not somebody that I think you can particularly count on when you are trailing. If you are ahead, give the ball to Giannis and let him do his thing. If you are trailing, Chris Middleton and, it's hard to even say it, but Chris Middleton and then Drew Holiday has to be your 2. And I think at that point, Giannis becomes your third option.
Yeah, and I think that the big piece with Giannis is his athleticism at his size. I mean, that's what he's made his career off of, and I just don't quite understand why you wouldn't prioritize getting Middleton the ball when he's obviously the better shooter. I mean, again, I with all due respect to Giannis Antetokounmpo, like he should not be taking 5 threes a game. He just shouldn't. Not in this situation. I mean, you're finding yourself in a situation now where you're down 2-0 to this Phoenix Suns team who has showed you time and time again that they're happy to go on the road and win games. Now, do I think they're going to sweep this Bucks team? No, I don't think they're going to sweep the Bucks. I think the Bucks are at least going to win one game. But I think in order for the Bucks to really get back into this series, you again, I know I keep saying it, but you have to move the ball. The reason that the Bucks are struggling so much is because the Suns are able to key in on Giannis. And there's no respect or fear that the ball is going to get back out to PJ Tucker in the corner for that three, right? There's no fear that Chris Middleton's going to get it going in the first half and have like 25 going into the half. There's no fear of that, And that has to change if the Bucks hope to get back in this. Now, on the flip side, I think we're seeing a similar dynamic for the Phoenix Suns, just to a lesser extent. And we saw this in the Clippers series quite a bit at the end, where you've got a guy in Chris Paul who really likes to get ball happy at the end of games, and it's not been a criticism to this point because he hadn't really turned the ball over. But last night, I saw some troubling trends where you've got Chris Paul trying to play hero ball for whatever reason, and started turning it over. Had like 6 or 7 turnovers. And if that game had been, for a 4 or 5 point game instead of a 12, 13 point game, those turnovers are going to start to hurt you. So I just think that both of these teams, even though the Suns are up 2-0, both of these teams have a decent bit to clean up. And I just think that right now, if you're the Bucks, you need to go home and handle your business. That's just as simple as it is. You got to win both of these games, and then the series really begins coming back to Phoenix.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting point about CP3 because there are a lot of people that are like, oh, man, this old guy's performance is amazing, and I'm here to tell you it's not that amazing. If you look at it in totality, what Chris Paul's doing is great. I mean, he's giving you valuable minutes. He is making that mid-range shot. Last night I thought he did a great job hitting threes. Like, he's doing what he needs to do. But the problem is when you get into big moments, Chris Paul wants to ball handle and dribble and throw behind-the-back passes to the guy sitting in the front row last night. Stupid turnovers, not giving Devin Booker, who was the hottest player on the floor, not constantly feeding him. But then what happens when Chris Paul wants the ball? He's clapping his hands and yelling at guys. His job is to facilitate their offense. If he's their offense, great. Devin Booker last night was their offense. Devin Booker should have had a 40-point game last night, but he couldn't get the ball. In the fourth quarter, if you go back and watch that tape, he's standing alone at the three-point line as guys sag off him.
Yeah.
They were dominating with screens last night, the pick and roll with Ayton, the stagger screens that allowed Devin Booker to be wide open on three-point looks, and they just stopped doing that. And it's largely because Chris Paul was walking the ball up really slowly and then doing a lot of dribbling and turning the ball over. And it just shows you that Devin Booker is the most important player on this team. There is no doubt in my mind that this team goes as Devin Booker goes. And it's all well and good that Chris Paul can have 30, 38, 40-point games, but those games are tight. You'll notice it when Devin Booker and Chris Paul both are scoring 25 points, the Suns are almost unbeatable. Now, the thing that worries you, Jake, if you're the Suns, obviously, you lost Dario Saric to a torn ACL. Now, last night, you lost Torrey Craig, who I think is a really important contributor off their bench, and I just don't know how much depth they have there. You can deal with Saric's injury.
Yeah.
I don't know how you compensate for Torrey Craig if he's injured and not able to return in this series.
Yeah, I don't know that there is any compensating for him. I think that what that means. Like if I'm Monty Williams and I get the news that, let's just say as an example, Torrey Craig's out the rest of the series or the season. I guess at that point, he's not going to be available the rest of the series. At that point, I'm saying, okay, well, that changes our outlook because at the end of the day, we have less guys to play the game with. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how can we win this series, as quickly as possible? Like, obviously, that's the mission right out of the gate. But when you start racking up injuries, your depth goes away, your rotations change, guys start playing minutes that you don't, like the Frank Kaminsky's of the world start getting minutes. You don't want Frank Kaminsky getting minutes.
No, that's scary, yeah.
But, like, now you don't have a choice. So, if you're Monty Williams, you're sitting here saying, okay, we got to get out to quick starts, and we got to find our flow in these games on the road. That has to happen for us to have success, and we're just going to have to see where that goes. Last night, I think in terms of minutes, Chris Paul decided he wanted to play a lot of minutes last night. So, he did that. But can that continue over the course of the next, 4 games if it were to go, deep? I don't know. So we'll see. I think I don't know that. I don't necessarily believe that Torrey Craig had a season-ending injury last night. What I do believe is that particular injury, the way it happened, it just really hurts a lot and will take you off your feet for a day, 2 days until your leg can kind of recover. So hopefully that's the case. And
Well,
he can come back.
it's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bolton says, "Morning, good morning, Jeremy Bolton." Jordan Crabtree says, "Buenos dias." Okay.
What?
What's that? It's Buenos Dias. Buenos diazepine.
Okay.
Gabe Ledley says, "Morning, fella. Suns in."
5.
I can't say.
5.
Well, no, it's Suns in 4, but I don't want to say that on this show because then I'd have to get up and punch you in the face because that's Suns in 4 means violence. Right? I mean, that it just seriously, right? I mean, I know that we're not. Yeah, I hate Suns in 4 guy so much. Get a job, loser. Anyway, by the way, Gabe Ledley's on an epic baseball trip right now.
Yes,
I don't know
he
if
is.
you know this. He is swinging through Southern California. Him and Baby Yoda were hanging out yesterday, which I thought was pretty cool. Him and the Yod Master were at Disneyland.
Yeah.
The
The Yod Master.
Yod Master Flash, yeah.
Okay.
Gabe was in San Diego. He's now in Anaheim,
San Diego.
Whale's vagina. So epic baseball trip. Good for you, Gabe. Hope you and the Fam Bam are enjoying that. Prediction time on the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Suns in 5.
Yeah.
I think they probably lose a game in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks are not traveling to beat them in Phoenix. I think teams that go up 2-0 are 31-4 in the modern era of NBA Finals for a reason, because it's very difficult to beat a team. I mean, if you think of what's left, there's 5 games left in this series. If you are the Milwaukee Bucks, think about what you have to do. You have to win 4 out of the next 5 games head-to-head with the Suns. Good luck.
And we were here with the Clippers, right? Suns go up 2-0 on the Clippers.
Right, but if the Clippers hadn't gotten hurt and, if they win a championship. And,
my fucking ass.
And if I hadn't farted, it wouldn't stink in here. I mean, but I did, so it does. It's one of those things where, anyway.
Wow.
Clipper fans are really, really bitter.
Yeah, they should be.
I mean, bitter.
Yeah.
Bitter.
Blame Joe Ingles. Don't blame the Phoenix Suns.
Blame Joe Ingles. Okay. Why are you going to hate on Joe Ingles? James Knight's not even here. By the way, it's Friday light today.
Yeah.
Friday is easily the slowest day of the week. If I could be, I would be sleeping too. Ooh, Gabe's going to Dodger Stadium tonight. Well, I hope your affairs are in order.
Yeah, I mean, did you pack your weapons, or what are we talking about here? I mean, are you
homie.
going John Wick mode, or
Just tell me you're not sitting in the bleachers at Dodger Stadium. Where were we? Prediction time.
Yeah.
I think it's Suns in 5.
yeah,
I think that they're going to lose a game in Milwaukee. Road games, role players don't traditionally play as well. So Jay Crowders of the world. What did you make of this DeAndre Ayton thing? Because I think this is a really important talking point, and I know that DeAndre Ayton's like the chic, hot guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
Center, runs the floor, the Bahamian behemoth. The guy is...
right. He lifts. We get it.
Yeah. He lifts.
Right.
He doesn't catch the ball very well.
Right.
And I don't know how many times I got to say that. I mean, DeAndre Ayton just does not catch the ball
Had to be
well.
10 times last night.
I mean...
not even exaggerating. 10 times last night where he just couldn't get a handle.
And I think what you see is that Ayton is a guy who really struggles with it. And he's a guy that... You know those little hand squeezy grip things?
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton needs to get a pair of those.
Right.
And he's got to learn to catch the ball and strengthen his grip. That is a real problem for DeAndre Ayton. He bobbles the ball a lot, doesn't catch it cleanly. That's why you see all of these tipped rebounds with him, because he doesn't go up and catch the basketball and dominate the ball. And it's something I think that you're going to have to, if you're DeAndre Ayton, you're going to have to develop. And I thought that thing with Monty Williams last night, the clip now that everybody has seen where Monty is, really trying to coax the beast out of DeAndre Ayton, that to me is great coaching. And obviously it worked. Ayton came out, got a rebound, blocked a shot, made a great pass, ran the floor, got a couple rebounds.
Yep.
That's the DeAndre Ayton you were used to seeing. And that speech that Monty Williams gave to him was stop hanging your head and start playing your kind of basketball.
Yeah.
And I thought the most telling line in that little soliloquy was that he was saying to him, not everything has to be beast mode. Or not everything has to be finesse. It can be beast mode too.
Yeah.
And I thought that's exactly what the Suns needed right there, and I thought that was a turning point. But DeAndre Ayton, I wonder if he can do what he's been doing on the road.
Yeah.
I wonder what that looks like in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think the thing for DeAndre Ayton in this series is that there's not yes, Brook Lopez is a thing, but like he's not their starting center dominant guy like, Zubats or Rudy or Joker in Denver. He's not like that's not the dynamic you have on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think that this series, frankly, would be vastly different if DeAndre Ayton did not have the athleticism that he has. You think about how the series plays out, and these games, the pace of these games is often very quick. I mean, until Chris Paul goes into, bring the ball up as super slow as I can at the end of the game,
right.
The pace of these games is really quick. So, I think for DeAndre, he has to figure out this balance between, running the floor, getting up and down, having that mentality, versus, okay, we're playing half-court basketball on this particular possession. How can I bring the physicality? How can I, make my presence felt in the middle? And I think that's why Monty Williams was talking to him about that, because as a young player, being not only your first NBA Finals, but being really your first postseason run and kind of a first for all of this, you sometimes get lost in the minutia of the game and have to be reeled back in. And I think that's what he was doing with him.
Is DeAndre ever a superstar?
A year ago when he came into the league or whatever, 2 years ago, whatever that was, I would have told you no, because I just didn't see the defensive progress, the defensive development. But I do think he has slowly but surely gotten better on that end. And for him to be a superstar, I think he's going to have to get better on that. The Suns need that physicality in the middle defensively, and he just doesn't bring it sometimes. So I think that's really what will define whether he can kind of get to this next level, because he has the jumper. He's got the offensive game. That's
right.
Not an issue. It's just a matter of, can he be the backstop they need him to be?
Is he ever a badass, DeAndre Ayton?
I don't think so.
That's the thing that
No.
I wonder about. Like, and this is the Rudy Gobert conversation as well. Like, is there a mean streak in DeAndre Ayton? And I frankly, I just don't see it. Like, I think DeAndre, you'll always be able to take advantage of him. Because he's one of those guys that's a soft-spoken, nice guy.
Yeah.
And I think when you're a guy, when you're a 7-footer, you need to be a mean SOB. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that are not. Like, and it's what makes Shaquille O'Neal as legendary as he is, because he wanted to hurt you.
Yeah.
He wanted to dunk on you. And I think that's what DeAndre Ayton, and again, I think even more to the point Rudy Gobert lacks, is that killer mentality.
And you can't teach that. Like, that's something that, as a player, you're either going to make the choice to become that person, like you're going to internally work on that every single day, every single time, you step on the floor, whether it's in practice, in a regular season game, the All-Star game, the finals, whenever. Like, you're going to make that choice to become kind of a killer and a badass, or you're not. And I think that, unfortunately, that's different than teaching someone how to shoot a ball or, pass the right way, or for DeAndre, teaching him to catch the basketball better. You can't teach somebody to, have the killer mentality. They have it or they don't, and it's hard to learn it.
By the way, without that killer mentality, Rudy Gobert got $205 million.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think that, DeAndre Ayton's going to be a max player. I have no doubt about that. I think that's, just coming for him at this point. But I think that, he got that money, but it was a mistake, and I think that he can change that from a mistake to a good contract by developing his game, just the same way, DA can become a superstar.
Now, here's another question for you. If you're the Phoenix Suns, who are you prioritizing? Because I actually think Mikal Bridges is a really important player on this team, and that's the guy that's going to get a max deal. Somebody's going to pay him. Should it be the Suns? And it's one of those things, and obviously we don't have to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges and that money is going to be talked about, because he is going to get paid out of this performance. He is going to get paid.
Right.
Because he's having a very good playoff run. I mean, Devin Booker is going to be the all-time leading scorer in his first playoff run.
Yep.
I think he's 38 points right now behind Rick Barry, he's going to get that in the next 3 games.
Yeah.
I think there is almost no doubt that this Suns team is going to be a record-breaking team. That usually means you can't keep them together because guys are going to get paid.
Yeah, I think, if I'm the Suns, unfortunately, this league has shown us time and time again that you need to prioritize the perimeter over the middle. So, I think it's definitely going to be a situation, assuming that they win a championship, it's going to be a situation where someone's going to have to take less. And I think that if you're the Suns, it's kind of this hard thing because, a lot of people are going to say, hey, you have to bring Chris Paul back. You have to. That's not optional. Like, he was one of the main reasons you got this far. So it kind of just depends. Do you prioritize Chris Paul? Do you let Chris Paul walk and prioritize guys like Bridges or Ayton? Like, it's a difficult conversation to have.
It is, and I think it's why championship dynasties are so few and far between.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you needed to win. Like, Devin Booker is a guy that, and I'm convinced as the day is long, that he's going to end up with the Lakers. Even though, did you notice that he was dapping up Dwayne Wade last night after the game?
Oh my God, he's going to be a Jazz man.
Well, no, what I said on Twitter last night was he's coming home.
Yeah.
To Utah.
Whatever.
Where he should have been in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker should be wearing a Utah Jazz uniform today. And he's not. But, I mean.
Why do you start the hysteria?
Yeah, probably.